1 in 4 children and adults have an invisible disability or a sensory processing challenge, making daily activities and novel experiences, let alone travel, nearly impossible. Included in this population are autistic children and adults, those with ADHD, panic and anxiety disorders, PTSD, traumatic brain injury recovery, Parkinson's, and dementia, to name a few. We all know someone, whether we're aware or not, with sensory challenges. And the world is just now beginning to shift in acceptance and accommodation of those with invisible disabilities. Over 2,500 entities have been trained and certified in sensory inclusion worldwide, including, but not limited to, schools, museums, zoos, first responders, music festivals, and cruise lines. It's time for sensory inclusion to touch the sky. It's time to partner with Kulture City to make every airline flight a sensory accessible and inclusive experience for the novel passenger or for someone who is willing to risk and to fly again. So they can see grandma. So they can make that graduation, so they can meet their grandbaby, so they can step foot on the beaches of Australia for the first time, or so they can go to the mountains of Patagonia. Airplane travel should be for all. With low-cost, impactful, and efficient training for flight attendants coming in multiple languages, coupled with tangible tools to meet the sensory needs of each passenger, there is a solution. And together, we can make air travel possible for all.
Ooh, I think I got a little chill there with that last line. I love it. Do we have anything to add before we move on to our Q&A?
Yeah, I think I want to say to everyone here, like I've been tearing up this whole time. So part of my autistic female profile is I'm like hyper empathetic and just seeing how beautiful people are around the world right now, really championing those with visible and invisible disabilities. Just huge thank you for being here and just getting to experience this. And then I would just say that it really is time to bring sensory inclusion into the sky. And many individuals and families forego air travel and thus vacations, the family experiences, and other events just that they need to get to. A couple months ago, I did a post on Instagram just chatting about a recent experience that I had on an airplane and just kind of saying in general, like it would be so neat to get Culture City involved with airlines. And so many people responded to that saying like, oh my gosh, if that happened, I would try traveling again. Or if that happened, we would venture and even go on an airplane for the first time. So it really doesn't take much to make the skies inclusive and accessible for those with sensory needs, but it has a massive impact. And we would love to get up in the air.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, let's go ahead and move into our Q&A portion. Goodness, I'm tripping over my words. I'm enjoying this way too much. All right, Olivia, go ahead.
Hi, I love the video. Thanks so much. I come from the education background, so I understand the need for training and continual training. So I was just interested in what a training program would look like, and specifically, are there continuing modules as we learn more and more is researched and developed?
Absolutely, great question. So I feel like that is kind of what sets Culture City apart, is we have trainings available across different entities, and we already have an outline for an actual airplane module to create. And what we do at Culture City is we provide, it's once a year, they're 40 minutes in duration. They go over what is sensory processing, what are the 8 senses, because we tend to think of the 5 senses, but what are those 3 others? And then what does overstimulation look like and understimulation? And then how can we as staff, volunteers, or in this case, how can we as flight attendants partner with the child or the adult that becomes dysregulated and get them back to a state of homeostasis? Every year we put out a new one that's revamped based on best practices in science, and then all of the various activations that we are doing just globally. We take into account what the kids and adults that we are interacting with say to us of what they need, and we love to create these modules. So that is what we do. That's a big part of the training. I mean, that's a big part of the certification.
Thank you.
Okay, excellent. Let's have Zach next, please.
Great. Thank you so much for being here today. It's really exciting work that you're doing. Can you share with us the cost model? How does a business acquire? What does that look like long term?
Absolutely. So because we've not actually been able to enter into the airlines, we've entered into airports, but not airlines. We know it would depend on the organizations involved. Like, would this be done airport to airport? Would this be done airline to airline? But what I can say is that it's honestly a minimal cost. It starts at $500. And then we do require a yearly payment of $500, just again for that updated access to the training. We really want to make sure at least 50%, if not more, of the employees are taking the training. And then we're all available for consultations too, year round. So my background is as a speech and language pathologist, and then we have several occupational therapists. 90% of our team are neurodivergent. Our founders are amazing, and they are neurodivergent ER physicians and ICU physicians with autistic sons. And so it starts at $500, and then it honestly would never go, even if it was a whole airline that took place and was like, yeah, we want every single plane to have this training and these sensory bags available, it would never go above like $10,000 per airline.
Got it. Thank you. Thanks for being here. Really
yeah,
great.
this is so neat.
Absolutely. It's an incredible experience. This is why I love this event. Okay, let's keep going. Zach, you're next.
You just had me up. Next one?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Okay. There you go. That was my fault.
There we go, Jake.
Go ahead.
You're supposed to put your hands down.
So Meg, I'm just going to make a comment, okay? About there are 25,000. United has 25,000 flight attendants, and another 25,000 gate attendants that would have to take these, and that's a very difficult. Your price points are great, and it's very affordable for them, but it's hard to get them all together to train. And so what I've seen, and one of the reasons that I've seen the applications being for sports venues, large sports venues. I would recommend you focus on the World Cup venues, because they are going to need your kits. They're going to need the training, and they will have a manageable group of people that you can train, and we will recommend you for that. The other area is really that they're using you are in these welcome centers, state and visitor welcome centers. And so those are areas that we will go offline, and I will connect you to people with that. So I'm going to let the next person ask a question.
That's awesome. Can I respond to like the World Cup and all that? Okay. So I would say our biggest partners thus far are like the NBA, the NFL, the MLB, the MLS. And we are at different arenas. We were at, like, I don't even know how to say it, FIFA, the World Cup for women's last year. We have plans for actually for the Olympics in 2034. And then we've trained, so like, I don't know if you saw, Philadelphia is the very first city to become sensory inclusive certified, and that was over 70,000 people trained. And our model is you can do a hybrid of where we do a training either in person, or you can do it just from the comfort of your home. There are 90 days as soon as you receive the training. So maybe we're go-getters, and we just would really love somehow to get into the airlines. Just
I'm
it
so
just
sorry.
doesn't take too much. Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I do have to cut you off. We do have to move on, but I love this product. I'm the host. I'm going to say something real quick. I love that you are talking about neurodivergencies and not just one of them. I think that's amazing.
Hey, Christy, one quick thing, and then Meg, we could take this offline. So the training, is most of it done in person versus like self-taught online? I apologize if that was in the video and I didn't
No,
catch that.
that's a great question. So it can be done either in person or online. The majority, like 95% of the 25,000 plus venues and entities we work with now, do it online. You just get a code, you get the specific training specific to your venue or entity. And then we have a way to calculate, like, when you hit that 50% mark, and then we ship out all of our supplies, and we add you to our free app, and create a social story and everything on that for users to be able to use ahead of time to kind of get ahead of any dysregulation.
Gotcha. And the sensory, I'm sorry, Christy, the sensory bags, are you creating those, and are you selling those to the?
They are researched. Yes, great question.
Okay.
They're research based, and yes, we have some really neat partners with a noise canceling headphones that fit both child size and adult size head. Or if you were me as a kid, I had a huge head. I still have a big head. And different fidget tools that are in there. There's a communication card, and there are strobe light glasses. There's all these different options that can go into those, and they cost $50 a piece. But for each $500 that is spent, you get 5 of our Kulture City bags already included in that, with the training and the certification.
Okay, now I really do have to cut you off. We have got to get no, love talking. You know, it's really a shame that we have so little to talk about when we're talking about accessibility. Thank you again, Meg.
Yes.
Absolutely wonderful presentation, and I'm glad you got to ask your question, Chris. But we